Wow. And scene.
Lion face. Lemon face. What? Average Intelligence Podcast?
Coobity-coobity-goo. Hello, everybody.
This podcast is brought to you by Stevie Wicks Cool Beans Candle Company. Stay tuned for more information on them later.
More shit.
I would say that.
That's
I'm making an honest effort to not curse as much on the podcast.
It's okay.
Well, no, apparently it's not, because it was brought to my attention during a certain course that cursing can affect the algorithm.
It does.
Particularly if it's captioned, however, even if it's in audio. So, well, I'm just going to turn into Butters. Gosh, flippity darn it.
Okay.
It's not a good Butters impression, but
it was okay. It was okay. Pop out.
Look.
Pop out.
I have notes.
I do too.
Because there's some shit going down.
I hooked up my second monitor just for this.
Ooh.
Well, actually, my second monitor I just bought from a Goodwill, believe it or not, because I was like, dude, they've got a Lenovo 1080p 60 hertz monitor for $10. I was like, it's not a huge deal. It's like a $60 or $70, or it's like a $60 monitor, but I'm like, $10? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, worst case scenario, you could buy it for 10 and flip it for 20.
Yes, that's also true, but I'm going to use it.
Well, I know, you had a need for it. But anyway, speaking of things that were stolen, you like that segue? They weren't stolen. There was a warrant. However, the why and even somewhat of the how is what's really being brought into question.
All right.
And I have
You have your notes, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I've got to interrupt you before we even get into that. So the judge who signed off on the warrant is linked to Jeffrey Epstein. And he was actually a federal prosecutor who switched sides to defend Epstein lieutenants, and also is an Obama donor.
So there's no conflict of interest there.
No, and then Hillary Clinton is fundraising off of this raid.
There's no conflict of interest there.
No, and she's basically saying, hey, I know what I did wasn't that bad, but what he did was bad, but the difference is a president has the power to declassify documents, whereas she was not a president, so therefore she did not have the power to declassify documents. The documents he took, now the thing is, I digress, these documents have not been validified as declassified, so just
right,
put that out there.
So really where this all comes from...
And if you don't drink Big Red, then fuck you. Oh, see how hard it is? Anyway.
If you don't drink Big Red, then forget you.
You son of a...
Stupid. Anyway. Where this allegedly stems from is the National Archives is missing some stuff. Now, I have read a few articles today, and there is, from what I can tell, because again, I am not a professional, I have average intelligence at best. But there are some varying accounts as to what the Presidential Records Act actually mandates. Now, it's my understanding, based upon the collection of everything I've read, is that, well, actually, you know what, we'll just read. So basically, it mandates the preservation of all presidential records. And it changes the legal ownership of the president's official records from private to public. And established a new statutory structure under which presidents must manage their records. And it also includes a prohibition of sending electronic records through non-official accounts unless an official account is copied on the transmission or a copy is forwarded to an official account shortly after creation. More on this part later. Now, without going through and reading the entire law, basically, I've got a bullet point list of what it actually does. It defines and states public ownership of the presidential records, which there's no problem there. It places the responsibility for the custody and management of incumbent presidential records with the president. Again, there's not an issue yet. Allows the incumbent president to dispose of records that no longer have administrative, historical, informational, or evidentiary value once he or she has obtained the views of the Archivist of the United States on the proposed disposal in writing. Now, that we don't know if that happened. Establishes a process for restriction and public access to these records, specifically the PRA, which is the Presidential Records Act, allows for public access to presidential records through the Freedom of Information Act, beginning 5 years after the end of the administration, which, if you're counting, it has not been 5 years since the end of the Trump administration. But it allows the president to invoke as many as 6 specific restrictions to public access for up to 12 years. It also establishes procedures for Congress, courts, and subsequent administrations to obtain special access to records that remain closed to the public, following a 30-day notice period to former and current presidents. It requires that vice presidential records are to be treated in the same way as presidential records. It establishes that presidential records automatically transfer into the legal custody of the archivist as soon as the president leaves office. This might be where the contention is. However, and I don't know, legal custody does not mean in possession of. Not necessarily, anyway. It establishes procedures for Congress, courts, and subsequent administrations to obtain a special access to records that remain close to the public following a privileged review period by the former and incumbent presidents. Let's see, establishes preservation. Okay, it establishes preservation requirements for official business conducted using non-official electronic message accounts. Any individual creating presidential records must use the non-official electronic messaging accounts unless that individual copies unofficial. So that goes into the previous. It requires that the president and his staff take all practical steps to file personal records separately from presidential records, and it prevents an individual who has been convicted of a crime related to the review, retention, removal, or destruction of records from being given access to any of the original records. And one of the kind of punishments, if someone is to infringe upon this law, is that they can be barred from being in public office in the United States. Which is where the real thing is, because here's the thing. This is the first time in U.S. history that this kind of thing has happened. Are you really telling me that no president ever misplaced a document on accident?
Bill Clinton literally took half of the freaking shit with him when he left office.
Oh, you watched the Ben Shapiro show too, huh?
Yeah, I was like, okay,
that seems mildly hyperbolic. I don't know if that's true or not, but right away, the first thing I thought about was the Clinton emails that were deleted and they could not find.
And considering James Comey rewrote the statute so she wouldn't get in trouble. And so it's like, okay, if you're going to rewrite it for someone who's like not a president, so the president would get more leeway.
Well, she was a member of a presidential administration, though, so the rules still apply. It's just like you said earlier, she cannot declassify documents.
No.
So here's the thing, though, and this is the true tragedy of it, is every conservative or right-leaning person or Republican all is saying, like, well, what about Hillary? Well, unfortunately, Hillary was never indicted. Now, here's the thing. Hillary was never indicted. I don't know if the case was dismissed or if they could actually indict her. Probably not. I would think not, since the case was dismissed by Comey.
No, because if I was president, you'd be in jail.
Well, and I was actually having a conversation about this with somebody earlier today, and I basically brought that.
He didn't go after her.
Well, I guess here's my problem, though. You know, let's say
he didn't want to suicide himself.
Yeah. Well, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Trump is guilty of something. I don't know what. Let's say he's guilty of hanging on to documents that he shouldn't have held on to, and let's go even further and say that this was done on purpose and not an accident, which it may be. If in fact he even is in possession of documents that he shouldn't be in possession of.
He did delay the search. So
sure. But really, you think that's the first time in history someone's delayed a search?
Exactly. It's
Ever?
like I got shit going on, but then they just show up out of nowhere.
Which is fine. They can do that. They have a warrant. I question the intent of this action, but the main point here is that where was I? Okay, so yeah, let's assume that Trump is guilty of what they're saying he's guilty of. If he is brought up on charges, you have to look at Hillary Clinton and be like, well, the logic behind her case being dismissed was essentially, well, nothing bad happened.
So if they have any evidence, they better fucking bring it out fast.
Well, not only that, if I'm Trump's lawyer, the first thing I'm going to do is be like, okay, let's say, for the sake of argument, that he's guilty of what they're saying he's guilty of. But case precedent from Hillary Clinton basically dictates that whether or not he's indicted is based not upon what he did, but whether or not anything bad happened.
And that's how lawyers win in court. You guys fucked up by letting her do this, and then you're trying to do the same thing. But the thing is, it's on the opposite side of the aisle. It's not going to work for you. Like, there's no judge is going to be like, okay. But then, because the thing is, they're going to lose their what bar that they be dismembered or something like that. Well, how does a judge work? Or the
I don't know, and this is some really dicey shit because the documents are classified. Like, I guess Trump's lawyer was not allowed to be present during the raid. They did not let them in. But the logic being that it's national security. So
I mean, same Scott, you know who Scott Perry is?
No, I do not.
He's
not by name anyway.
He's a Trump ally, and he was a part of the January 6th the fuck was it? The January 6th anyway, so basically he was raided too, and they came in and took his cell phone without even trying to talk to his lawyer. You know.
Well, and again, technically they can if they have a warrant.
January 6th.
I know, but still.
You know, so it's like, what does his phone... I don't know. That's just stupid.
Yeah, it's just, this seems to me like a pretty obvious ploy to try to make Trump ineligible to run in 2024.
Yeah, not going to work.
It depends. It depends on how this turns out. Yeah, not fairly.
They don't have anything. You have to have something. If they forge something, sure.
Well, they don't even have to forge. All they really have to do to move forward is show that Trump was in possession of classified documents.
Yeah, but the thing is, he still was a president, and he could be like, I told somebody, I told to declassify this, you know, and then be like,
well, but he can't retroactively declassify documents.
That's what I'm saying, though. But like, you know, if he did it in somebody, like, I don't know how that shit works, you know.
That would come out during an investigation. But here's the thing. Oh God, I forget her name. The House Minority Leader basically told the DOJ, get all your documents and clear your schedule.
Well, and the thing is, so let's say they go ahead with this, and so let's say they figure something out and they make him ineligible. DeSantis is going to run, and you're all going to lose still.
Just because he's ineligible to run for office doesn't mean he can't help campaign. And really, they won't get this overturned.
Exactly.
You really think so?
So,
and you like this is the Democratic Party shooting themselves in the face, because
that's what they're good at.
Like, even if they won in 2024, they will eventually lose an election to a Republican. It will happen eventually.
I mean, a bunch of them are already being unseated in the in the House. And
yeah.
So
which we predicted that. But this ties into what we were talking about in the first podcast, I believe, is that Trump has been. Now, I want to put this out there lest I be accused of being a Trumper, because I am not. I find him very entertaining and a lot of policy things I liked. But as a president, I didn't. First, full disclosure, I didn't vote for Trump. Sorry, not sorry. Either time. Sorry, not sorry.
No, you fucked up.
But it was my fault.
I mean,
It's my fault
a
it's so long.
vote not for Trump at that point was a vote for the other guy, because the thing is that there was no libertarian getting voted in. I wish there would.
You do realize that we live in Indiana, which goes red.
I know
Anyway.
I know, but that's why I was confused. But if more people like you would have just went through with it, and be like, oh gosh, I hate the guy.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Are you
Indiana
sure?
went red. Yeah, because Indiana went red.
Indiana was going to go red regardless, because
That's
we're a
what
red
I'm
state.
saying. It doesn't. It literally did not matter.
Well, it does in the overall.
Not really.
Actually,
though,
no, you're
it's-
right. Never mind.
Yeah, I
That's
was gonna say
stupid.
it's not a popular vote.
Honestly, like, I'm back and forth with that. I don't know if I would ever want a popular vote versus.
I don't want a
versus
popular vote
electoral college.
because as we learned in ancient Greece and every other democracy, true democracy after that, true democracy is just mob rule. That's all it is. So if 51% of people think that we should nuke the 49%, guess what? That's true democracy, which is why it annoys me. And you notice it's usually the Democrats who say things like, well, we have to defend our democracy. It's not a democracy, fuckbed. It never was. It's a republic. It's a constitutional republic which exists in this infrastructure to protect the minority.
I figured
From the majority.
I figured this topic would be popular.
Yeah?
0.
Well, fuck them.
Since hasn't even gotten 1, dude. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, you never know. Well, you never know. You never know. The last podcast didn't really start climbing up until after.
I know.
And boy, did it climb up.
It's YouTube, man. The algorithm.
I've noticed myself. I've noticed quite a delay. Because, like, we'll upload a video that ultimately performs well, but it takes a while. So, maybe YouTube's just busy.
And I said that and 1 just popped on.
I think that was me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that shit shouldn't count. Like,
well, but I'm not logged into this channel.
oh, well, if I go in to look, though, at me, it'll add to that.
Ain't that some crap?
Yeah. It's like, that doesn't count.
Or does it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But yeah, so back to what we were talking about. In the first podcast, we pointed out that Trump has been unduly scrutinized compared to pretty much any other president, that at least that I can recall. And even during his administration. Like, what's the worst thing that happened to Obama? Oh, which, and admittedly, this was stupid. They were like, oh, his birth certificate's fake. He ain't no American. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, but how long did it take for him to produce that, though?
Listen, he produced it. It's in Hawaii.
I'm not debating that. I'm just saying how long it took him. But the thing is, then they're gonna start talking shit about Trump, not allowing them to raid his place. So it's like, okay, guys, and they're talking about tax documents, which he never wanted to show. Which, I mean, I don't blame him. Like, it's not a qualification to show your tax documents to become president. I don't care what anyone does on their fucking tax forms. I want to know what your policies are. I don't give a fuck about your dealings. People are so worried about people's fucking personal business. I'm like, I don't care about that. I care about what your policies are going to do for me. I don't care what you've done.
It's like I never, because there's this misconception that presidents have to release their tax returns, and they don't.
There's nothing in there that says it.
It's not a law.
You got to be 35. That's it.
It's a precedent. Admittedly, it's a precedent that's been set, and when somebody refuses to do so, it does kind of like raise some eyebrows. But there could be a number of legitimate or illegitimate reasons. But the fact is, it's irrelevant because he does not have to disclose that information. Now, I'm surprised that when other presidents have released their tax returns, people didn't go, "Oh, where's all this money coming from?"
It's because the thing is, the best place to hide is in plain sight.
Yeah, I suppose, because who reads it?
It's like if Nancy Pelosi to her base released her tax documents, they wouldn't say shit. But if you gave it to a fucking conservative who doesn't like her and they start to look at it, they're like, "You're going to prison."
You'd be like, what's all this fair share stuff you keep talking about? Because that's a lot of zeros,
Yeah,
man.
your husband. What
Oh,
he
it's okay. It's not my money. It's my husband's money.
Yeah, okay, Nancy, because your husband
Yes,
got
but it's
nowhere because of you. Okay.
but aren't you Speaker of the House and thus have a wildly inappropriate, say in fiscal policy that directly affects banking and business?
I'm telling you what, dude, anyone in Congress, I hate to say it like this, anyone in Congress, president, any of that stuff. If you hold public office, you should not be allowed to be in the stock market. Your family should not be allowed to be in the stock market because the thing is, if you are family members with someone who works at a casino, you can't go there.
Yeah. Well, but I guess the question then becomes, where do you draw the line? Would you say household, or because that's a
Fuck
tough line
no.
to draw?
If you got
I'm
a
not
guy, if you
saying
got
you're
the same
wrong.
name, no, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah,
Um,
that is difficult.
well,
You'd have to state your family members who live with you in that household, but then you can be like, hey, second cousin. Amazon is going to be trading for this much, and you should buy 10 million shares, and here's this money from my
hey,
offshore account.
yeah. That's what I guess that's what I'm saying is like it's a hard
Knock life
thing.
for
It's
us.
it's a hard line to draw for sure. But you know what isn't a hard line to draw? Admitting that your house smells like a dumpster. Luckily for you, there's something you can do about it with our proud sponsor, Stevie Wicks Cool Beans Candle Company. This one in particular, the blueberry muffin, is great because just the other day, this is a true story. I walked into my house and I said, "This place smells like ass." So I popped the cap off of this blueberry, didn't even light it, just let it sit there, and all of a sudden, I transported myself mentally and olfactorily, is that a word? It is now. Olfactorily transported myself from the cesspool of filth that my house smelled like, thanks in large part to my dog and her lack of hygiene, to a French bakery. Fuck French bakeries, an American bakery.
Where that American bakery was like, it's you, blueberry muffin.
That's what it said to my nose. It was like, oh, that smells good. Anyway, you can get your very own blueberry muffin or any other scent that they have, which I believe the count is 50 or 60. It's grown.
Link
In the description below. That's StevieWicks.com, StevieWix.com. And hey, let's face facts. It's probably dudes watching this, or maybe some hot conservative chicks. They like candles. But liberal women like candles too, especially when you can tell them it's all natural soy wax. So if you've got a hippie girlfriend that refuses to shave her legs, get her this.
Or if you want them to pay their fair share in taxes, buy those. They pay their taxes.
Yeah, we have to because we're normal people. So back to the dumpster fire that is the United States politics.
This whole country right now.
Hey man, Stevie Wicks can cover up the smell, but you can't unsee this. Where's Kyle Rittenhouse when you need him? Because he put out the fire in the dumpster.
Oh, woo! I took that way too far in my head.
That's not hate speech. That is a clever joke from someone who actually watched the testimony, unlike the majority of the United States.
Yeah, he had a gun. What?
Well, I still laugh. I shouldn't laugh, but it is funny that there was an article published in National Geographic saying that Kyle Rittenhouse killed 2 black men. It's published in National Geographic. It's published.
There was a guy in Congress actually explaining. He had no idea what a gun was, and he was trying to say that this holster that attaches to your forearm and holds your weapon, literally, turns it into an automatic weapon. And a guy who's from the military who serves for Congress, I can't remember his name, he goes, do you not realize that's a holster, not a holster, but a stabilizer. You attach it to your forearm, and then it goes against this, and one trigger, one pull. And he's just like, do you not know what you're talking about?
Well, no, because most people assume that a semi-automatic is an automatic. But we're getting off topic.
No, we're not. This is all topic. Just kidding.
Oh, but going back to topic, the specific law that was cited in terms of how Trump could be barred from office is actually U.S. Code Title 18, Section 2071, parts A and B, which I will read for our audience, so you don't have to Google. You can just sit back, relax, light your Stevie Wicks candle, and enjoy. Whoever willfully and unlawfully, see here is the meat and potatoes. Whoever willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, obliterates, or destroys, or attempts to do so, or with intent to do so, takes and carries away any record, proceeding, map, book, paper, document, or other thing filed or deposited with any clerk or officer of any court of the United States or in any public office or with any judicial or public officer of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. And Part B, whoever having the custody of any such record, proceeding, map, book, document, paper, or other thing, willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, obliterates, falsifies, or destroys the same, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both, and shall forfeit his office and be disqualified from holding any office under the United States. As used in this subsection, the term office does not include the office held by any person as a retired officer of the armed forces of the United States. That's the law.
Sounds good. Still not going to do anything to him.
Well, here's the thing, though. They have to prove intent. They have to prove...
That's my point.
I mean,
got nothing.
The basic defense was, oh, I didn't know. That's how Hillary got away with it.
Mm-hmm. So,
except actually, that's not true. Hillary,
considering they know for a fact that phones were destroyed with hammers and files were washed with a known program to delete hard drives. So it's like, okay, so you have all this evidence and she got nothing. So therefore, you guys fucked up and set a precedence. Good luck. It ain't happening. Nothing's gonna happen. And if something does happen, like people are talking about civil war, and this would start it. You laugh.
Well,
there's a lot of pissed off conservatives right now, dude.
Well,
the FBI is mostly very untrusted, completely now. Like they were like kind of iffy before, but now it's like completely. They have no water. They
two things. Well, two things. First, I find it hilarious that people on the left are now like very much supporting the FBI when weren't they screaming defund the police not long ago? Well, guess what, people? The FBI is a law enforcement agency.
Oh, bootlickers. I love when they say that shit.
Yeah. Well, and I do find the concept of a civil war funny because the left doesn't have any guns.
That's not true.
Well,
Gage Grosskreutz.
Okay, valid point. The majority
But he got his arm blown off.
Yeah. The majority of people on the left purport to dislike guns. Whereas the side that they are talking about going to war with loves guns. And got lots of them. That would be like the Confederacy taking on the U.S. Army from World War II.
Boom! Done. That's what I'm saying. It's nothing is gonna happen. It's just all just gonna, because for one they have to produce something that is worthy, and they're not gonna produce anything. I mean, what did he take? Fucking declassified ET. That'd be great.
Well, and here's the thing. This is the problem because I don't hate Trump. I don't love Trump. I'm kind of in the middle. I observed, and I, very much like Ben Shapiro said, it's like when Trump did good, I said good Trump, and when Trump did bad, I said bad Trump.
Exactly. It's not that
and
hard.
There were moments of both. But if Trump is indicted on these charges, I have an issue because Hillary Clinton
was not
arguably did worse. Because here's the thing,
I wouldn't even say arguably, I would say fucking definite.
Well, because here's the thing, for Trump, for those documents to have fallen into the wrong hands from Trump, they would have had to break into Mar-a-Lago. All somebody would have had to do is hack Hillary Clinton's computer or her server because
it was a private server with not like very strict firewalls and whatnot.
Well, now she said they did, but nobody knows because the private server was destroyed.
Oh, whoa, huh? Are we sure it was destroyed, or was it copied first and then given to China? Oh.
Now, I want to read an excerpt from an article that I found citing the Hillary Clinton thing. It's only 2 paragraphs and 2 short paragraphs, but so during her tenure as United States Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton drew controversy by using a private email server for official public communications rather than using the official State Department email accounts maintained on federal servers. Now, first of all, why? Why would you? What would be the reason other than trying to hide something? I don't understand the logic of this. Like that part doesn't make sense to me. Clinton's server was found to hold over 100 emails containing classified information. So, knowingly classified documents were found, including 65 emails deemed secret and 22 deemed top secret. An additional 2,093 emails not marked classified were retroactively designated confidential by the State Department, which Hillary Clinton was a member of. Keep that in mind. Some experts, officials, and members of Congress contended that Clinton's use of a private messaging system so not only a private server, but a private messaging system, violated federal law, specifically U.S. Code 18 U.S. Code 1924, which, if you recall from earlier, that's a different part, but it's the same basic. Regarding the unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or materials, as well as the State Department protocols and procedures, and regulations governing record keeping. Clinton claimed that her use complied with federal laws and State Department regulations, and that former secretaries of state had also maintained personal email accounts. However, Clinton was the only Secretary of State to use a private server. Notice that she said that former secretaries of state had private email accounts, but she did not specify that they used them for State Department business. It's like, of course they would have a private email. They're still a person. Yeah, but exactly. Are they conducting government business on it? News reports by NBC and CNN indicated that the emails discussed innocuous matters already available in public domain. For example, the CIA drone program has been widely discussed in the public domain since the early 2000s. However, the existence of the program is technically classified, so sharing a newspaper article that mentions it would constitute a security breach, according to the CIA. Now, this is assuming that all she did was share a newspaper article. And again, you avoid all of this by just using your State Department server and email.
No, that'd be too easy.
I know, that would just be too fucking easy.
That would be,
that would be too freaking easy. Well, that would be too freaking easy.
Yeah, right. I'm not sure what we were talking about, but we had a person, Vincent. I'm not going to guess, but those same people used to think 9/11 was an inside job. Do you know what that was in reference to, what we were talking about?
I haven't a clue. We would need some clarification, Vincent. I was on a rant.
Yeah, I just noticed it, but you were talking about that, so, and it doesn't give me time frame.
And I'm gonna say Vincent Vilo.
Veliu could be something like that.
Maybe Viliu. Vincente. I need some clarification, if you would be so kind.
I don't know if he was referring to us, saying we were the ones thinking 9/11 was an inside job.
Well, that's you, fucker, not me.
I mean, it's weird, just like everything else in this country that happens. It's weird. He said he was talking about the people that hate Trump.
Oh, okay. You know what? He's got a point. So? Well, think about it, though. Okay, no, he's got a point, because remember who was president when 9/11 happened. And it was the justification.
Sorry if we butchered your name, by the way.
It's going to happen.
But anyway.
Well, Bush was president during 9/11, and he used it as rightfully justification for the invasion of Afghanistan. So, yeah, I think most of the people who were talking about 9/11 being an inside job were probably on the far left, but the left nonetheless. Because most of the people on the right were like, yeah, war!
Yeah!
Yeah!
It's like I just love the stigma that every conservative or anyone who thinks conservatively is that. Do you
Well,
know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know, man. Riding horses,
HICK. Well, let's go with that.
man. Riding horses and shooting guns sure is a lot of fun, though.
I've never ridden a horse. And I've never shot a gun.
Especially when you do them both at the same time.
I've petted a horse.
I have ridden a horse and shot a gun. However, I've never fired a handgun, at least not that I can remember, which is weird because you would think it's.
Were you a Boy Scout? No, but I ate a brownie once.
Well, that's inappropriate.
But
What was it? A special brownie?
I mean, this whole thing sets a really bad precedent.
That's the key to this. Well, and again, so I suspect this will go the way of all the other Trump controversies. Like, we're going to make him show his tax returns. No. Impeached twice. Russian collusion. January 6th hearings. They got nothing. They literally, they have nothing.
They keep
You've
trying
gone
and
after-
trying and trying and trying, and it's like, when do you give up?
Well, they won't give up.
That's my
That's-
point. So it's like,
that's
what
the
are
thing.
you? It's like, it's not.
Well, they need an enemy because the Biden administration keeps getting called out on its incompetence.
Yeah, and considering Biden was asked if he's going to run again, and that the majority of Democrats, this person said to him that they don't want to vote for him, and Biden was like, "What are you talking about? Look at the polls. Look at the polls." And it's like, I mean, the polls showed Hillary Clinton winning in 2016.
The polls, and granted, this was Shapiro, so I haven't looked at the poll, but there was a poll among only Democrats, and only 40% said they wanted to vote for Biden. I'm sorry, guys. That's pretty bad.
2 seconds. Pause. I'll answer this real quick. Sorry, guys. The things we do. And he's back. The things we do for free Zoom. Oh no, he's trapped in the space that is the Matrix.
But you told me to freeze.
Unfreeze.
It's exhausting.
But where were we?
I don't. The dangerous precedent that this is setting.
Yeah.
And here's the most annoying part, at least for me. Nobody probably agrees with me on this, but I'm getting real sick and tired of this tit for tat between the left and right because, like.
But is it?
Yes, it is. It really is because.
What like this has happened on the left that the right
like
has done?
Not like this.
I'm saying tit for tat's equal.
Okay, valid point. So it's like tit. It's like tit tat.
Okay.
Tit tat.
I'll give you that. A lot of tits.
Like Total Recall tits.
Oh, 3. Tit
Ah.
tat. Tit tat. Okay, yeah, I said it right. I had a guess. I had a second guess there for a second. Sucker.
Yes, that was 3 tits.
It's just, it's unbelievable, and I don't get it, because at the end of the day, all they're doing is like showing the world. Well, I'm sorry, not the world. They're showing the United States, all voters. It's like, okay, so we're gonna do this if we dislike you. We don't care what you have. We're gonna keep doing this and this and this. So guess what's gonna happen? It's gonna be a red wave in November once again, and then Republicans will probably take back the House. I mean, it's more than likely. And then hopefully,
Probably the
and
House.
I'm assuming they're going to hold Senate as well. They're going to hold majority in Senate. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And the reason I said I don't know who's going to win what.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if they're all in there, and let's say they start doing laws and trying to fix the economy and doing this and that, trying to push something. I don't know what they're going to try to push. And say Biden starts crazy. What's the word I'm looking for? Canceling out their laws. What?
Vetoing?
Veto. Thank you. I'm average. Anyway, so he starts vetoing all these laws that they're trying to pass, and then all of a sudden they deem him insane, and they impeach his ass.
I mean, you can't impeach someone for being dumb, unfortunately.
No, I'm not talking being dumb. I'm talking being like, say it's like something that's like, I don't know. I don't know what. I don't even have a freaking example to give you. I'm just saying that there's a fucking there's all kinds of reasons right now. Like, can they not impeach him because of like his mental decline? Like, seemingly.
That's. It's not an
I know that's the
impeachable
25th,
defense.
but the thing is, only the vice president can invoke that. Correct?
Yeah, but and that's playing kind of fast and loose with the ruling there. Biden would have to be medically incapacitated.
Yeah, and I mean, why hasn't he had taken a test? The dude can barely walk upstairs. The dude can barely talk.
Well, you know what? FDR couldn't walk upstairs either, and he did. Well, he was still president.
He also caused a lot of debt, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but like I'm not giving FDR a free pass, but it was kind of.
Because he was Democrat too, right?
Yeah, conventional economic wisdom at the time said that public works would get people out of the Depression. When there's a case to be made that it was actually the Second World War, either way, it was government spending. So he kind of right, I guess.
It's
but funny,
Democrats,
but funny thing,
we're in debt. Let's spend more money to get out of debt.
well, I mean, and to an extent, that can maybe work.
If you use the money wisely. You add jobs, you add value to the economy.
And I can't think of a wiser way to use money than getting rid of Nazis.
I can't think of wiser money than spending it on Stevie Wicks candles.
Me neither. Because here's the thing, it goes back into the local economy. It's a small business. It's great. And we lost a viewer. Screw you. They're going to buy Stevie Wicks candles. I knew it.
We lost 2. We were at 5 for a second.
They're going to buy candles, man. I'm telling you. They're supporting small business.
Back up. So, yeah. I don't get it. You know, it all makes zero sense to me because I should have been clearing quite a bit. This time last year, with all the stuff I have now, can sorting to my mining and whatnot, like crypto mining for anyone who hasn't watched channels just joining in, like I should be making decent amount of money from it, and I'm barely covering electricity and then a little bit of extra. So it's like, fuck you to everyone. See, I gotta stop saying it. Fuck you.
So, but that's not. It's partially Biden's fault, but not totally, because we were due for a bear market anyway. It was that point in the cycle.
This was not a bear market of natural stance. Like, this was a bear market due to inflation and
But that bull run was also artificial.
Yes, but the thing is, though, we did not pull back to prices that were pre-bull market.
True. Yeah,
like we're doing really bad compared to what it was.
I'm saying it's a combination of a natural cycle that was exacerbated by pandemic spending one way and another. So in the bull market, when everybody had that money, they were spending it that way, and then the natural progression after that is inflation, which is what. But we were already due. In fact, that bull run extended into what would have been a natural recession, not like an economic recession, but a natural recession in pricing, because it waves. It's in waves.
There's nothing anyone's going to say that does not make me think that it's the fucking administration's fault, because for the last 4 fucking years, that's all we fucking heard. Oh, this and this and this. And I'm like, are you not enjoying your paychecks? Are you not enjoying fucking cheap products? Are you not enjoying this? And then all of a sudden a new president gets in, and then everything fucking goes to shit within a year. Not even a year.
I'm just trying. Yes, I agree with you.
I know you agree. I'm venting.
It is mostly Biden. All I'm saying is that there were natural events that would have happened, but they were greatly exacerbated by. We
wouldn't have sent $40 billion to fucking Ukraine. I'm just gonna say that. You think Trump would have spent $40 billion? He would have told Russia, if you go in there, we're gonna bomb you.
Well, okay, so I agree.
Actually, I don't know that. Please don't quote me on that.
Well, no, I
He's
agree.
He's stupid enough to say that.
Well, because here's what I think happened. I don't think Putin would have invaded Ukraine if Trump was president.
Because the thing is,
but if he did, I think Trump would have. Here's the thing: Trump probably would have sent money to Ukraine, but under the condition that other governments do the same.
Yeah, like, once again, and then, okay, this wasn't Biden's fault, but we rejoined the Paris Climate Accord. How much did that cost us?
That is Biden's fault, actually.
Yeah, that's why I said, I said we rejoined the Paris Climate Accord. Whose fault was that? That was Biden. And then on top of that, let's say the 1 million barrels a day that he is releasing from his strategic oil reserve. You know about that? Okay, so
well, yeah, because gas prices have gone down, but they're still not.
Some of that to China.
Of course he is.
So, but then get this. But then get this. So if you do the math, when he started pulling oil from the strategic reserve, 1 million barrels a day for 180 days. That's 6 months. When he first started doing that was in July. No, June. I apologize. June. So what's 6 months past June? December, right? Wouldn't that be right after elections when we run out of the strategic reserve and we're not using it anymore? Little suspect.
That's a problem if he wins, though.
That's my point. But the thing is, they'll have already won. I'm talking, blue in this November. But I'm talking, if they win, they're gonna be like, hey, we did this, and then all of a sudden, hey, well, gas prices right back up to $6 a gallon.
Well, and the thing of it is that's all part of the plan.
Easily. I mean,
anyone
can't see that they're fucking stupid.
It's all.
This price on the gas is temporary. Don't get used to it, people.
No, it's gonna go back up. It has to. In fact, the only reason they're probably artificially lowering the prices by going into the natural reserves is so that they can not lose votes in 2022.
But how they could fix it? How could they fix it? Really easily. How could they fix it?
How can they fix it, Eric?
Drill on national lands.
Drill, baby, drill.
Lessen fucking restrictions, and then get more people contracts.
You can say what you will.
They keep trying to say, well, we have 9,000. But the thing is, if you listen to any of these oil execs, they say, do you not, like, that they go into detail. I watched the Congress briefing, and they said that the hoops they had to jump through were crazy. And then the thing is, they were asking about electric goals. Like saying, hey, well, what are you doing about switching over to electric? And I'm at the point where I'm like, why the fuck do we care about electric?
He's gone.
Why do we care about electric? My camera is burning up.
It's overheated.
It is overheated. But anyway, so it's like, why do we care about electric right now when we can't afford anything? So let's get the gas price down.
Yeah, because the problem is, and this is what
at a time. That's what we need to do.
This is what environmentalists on the left fail to understand, is that they're trying to skip a step.
Right. Because
the natural progression would be to more renewable energy, but that includes nuclear, and they don't like that word for some reason. But they're skipping the step, the gradual, which was it was already starting to happen with the advent of Tesla and Chevy's electric cars, and then now other car manufacturers who, granted, are doing more of it from pressure from governments. But this was a logical progression that was already happening. The problem is they were set with infrastructure that had not been adequately maintained, so they had a choice to make. Do they rebuild the existing infrastructure using the current energy model, i.e. fossil fuels, or do they change it over to green energy? And what they've kind of elected to do is a little bit of both, so it didn't really solve the problem. And green energy, being newer technologies, there are always R&D problems, because, yeah, the solar panels have this collection capacity in a lab setting or in a small setting, but what are you going to do if, say, I don't know, there's just days of cloud cover?
I do not know what's going on with my shit right now. But anyway, I'm listening.
If it was wind powered, you wouldn't have that problem. But what kills me is then, honestly, I'll be real. The next logical step from fossil fuels is nuclear, but that doesn't fix everything. It fixes a lot of things, but it doesn't fix everything. So we're at the beginning of what I think is a transitional period when it comes to energy, and we're making steps. And that's another thing that annoys me that people on the left do all the time is they refuse to acknowledge steps that we've made. Yes, we are still burning coal and natural gas, but it's the cleanest we've ever burned it.
Yeah.
And it's getting better. And like, yeah, fracking this, fracking that, I understand it, but nothing is completely, and nothing is completely 100% clean, because they also act like solar has no waste. They act like wind turbines have no waste. And in fact, if you want to get technical, nuclear has the least waste of all of them, big time.
Mm-hmm.
And they scared of nuclear because you have big sciencey words.
I'll be honest, it scares me a little bit, but that's just because of watching movies and shit like that. It has nothing to do with real life.
I really, really wish that we had nuclear here. I really, really do.
Can you see me?
I cannot. I just see the picture of that dashing young man.
I just noticed that. That was a terrible picture.
It really is. You look like you're trying to pose for an album cover.
Yeah.
but like a
Nickelback, man.
Well, I was gonna say like an ICP cover band without the face paint.
I'm stupid.
Is that the name of the album?
I'm stupid. Down in the left corner where it says start video and stop video.
Oh, did you click it? There it is.
I don't know how that
That
happened.
was my camera. My camera is not hot at all.
Mine was on fire. It was like.
Well, mine is run on solar and love. Solar, love, and unicorn farts.
I love unicorn farts. They keep me alive.
Dude,
Half-Life,
they give me
though.
so much energy. They give me so much energy.
Speaking of energy, I joined a gym today.
I saw that. I was at the gym today.
$10 if I want to bring someone for day pass.
Oh, that's nice.
That's,
I saw that. I saw that water slide there.
dude. I wouldn't even think about that. You're
doesn't look
like
a gym.
$10. Let's go. No, just kidding.
That's a water park, sir.
Yeah, but the on the other side was an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Sure.
Long ways. I wouldn't say like wide, but it is what it is.
But I mean, if you really think about it, it kind of makes me want to look for an Anytime Fitness around here.
It's not Anytime Fitness. It's Total Fitness.
Oh, Total Fit. That's right. You said Total
It's
Fitness.
specific to my area. Like,
Damn!
I don't know any of them because it has a sauna too, and I was like, I'm really big on the sauna because like that shit, like, dude, like you can work out hard and then you just go sit in there and you come out and you're all ooey gooey loosey.
Ooey Gooey and Lucy.
Yes, ooey gooey. Man, all I'm saying is bullshit. I don't care.
It is bull dookie.
I don't care whether or not you like the guy or not. I don't want them to be able to do stupid shit like this to anyone.
I don't want to be able to do stupid stuff, gun.
Some gun season good.
It's easy, gun. Instead of assay buns.
I don't really have much left on this, so basically we can either take off or if you got something, not like shut it down, but like talk about something else or whatnot, or just sit here and bitch and moan about it because I'm out of factual evidence that I have.
I mean, but once again, this is just another one of those things that we keep speculating and yet nobody listens to us because YouTube refuses to push the truth.
They've been pushing us a little bit here lately. Our shorts have been doing well.
They haven't been pushing shit. I've been hacking the fucking algorithm.
Yeah. They've actually been doing really well because of the videos.
Oh, actually, fun fact, I found out today that Vice is going to be doing a hit piece on Andrew Tate.
Oh, yeah, hit piece.
Well, here's the best part. He invited them into his house. He had the documentarian on an emergency meeting podcast today. And he's just like the definition of don't give a fuck.
Dude, that's
It was-
perfect though. Like, get them
I
in
know.
there, record it all, and with their questions, and be like, "You can't fucking
I
take
loved
something
it
out of context."
Tristan, because Andrew's talking. He's like, I brought you in, I let you in my house, and you're still gonna do a hit piece on me. And Tristan, he's like, you can go anywhere you want in my house. And then Tristan, just not missing a beat, goes, except for that closet over there. That's where we keep our human trafficking victims. You can't go in there. It's like, oh my god. It's quite funny. I haven't finished it yet, but it is quite
So
entertaining.
you're saying they got out all the recording equipment for the hit piece? Them coming in and asking
No,
questions?
Vice is legit doing a documentary.
I would hope that they record every single thing along with them.
I would think so.
Okay,
I
guess I
they've got
misunderstood
it.
you. I got excited.
They've got it under video surveillance. It's my understanding. It's
Okay.
all recorded. Now, what's interesting though is we should see some of the Vice people in episodes of Take Confidential coming up, and I've been watching so much stuff on YouTube and TikTok, and I love how now everybody knows who Andrew Tate is, and everybody just keeps getting shit wrong. Because again, now he's famous. Now he's internet famous, more so than he was.
He's blown up.
Well, now it's funny because now people who've never heard of him before are like talking like they're experts, and I'm like, bitch. It's like, there were never charges filed for that, right? Like the whole when the Romanian police raided his house, it's like, yes, he's already addressed that. No charges were filed. They were both released after a couple of hours because the police came, saw it was bullshit, and let him go.
Kind of like what's going to happen here during this.
Yeah, but now, much like Trump, everybody's like, well, he's a human trafficker. It's like, no.
They try to say that because of the OnlyFans shit.
Well, I know, but that's what they switched to now. And it's like, no, that's actually not the case. It's the problem, though, because when people come out there and they're telling the truth about whatever subject you might like, people don't like it. Trump was the same way. Tate's the same way. I'm trying to think of another example. Alex Jones, when he's not psychotic, is the same way. They just shutting it down because they're scared of the truth. But what's so scary about the truth?
Because it doesn't make them money.
But it could.
No, they're afraid. Their lies make them more money.
Oh God, who's the rapper? Is it Todd McDonald?
Tom McDonald. Tom
McDonald.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, fuck out of here. Tom McDonald.
Todd McDonald. Todd McDonald.
Tom McDonald says to ye, the truth. Oh God, I'm having a match.
The truth shall set you free.
I have to look because I don't want to misquote the man. I believe it's the truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. I believe is the quote. Something along those lines. And me personally, maybe it's because I've taken the proverbial red pill, but I would much rather be aware of the truth and then figure out what to do, as opposed to living in a fantasy land. As opposed to living in the Matrix.
Well, all I know is I'm down here reporting from Mar-a-Lago, and
it's a madhouse.
It's beautiful down here.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's right. Crikey down there.
You see this right here? That's where the Goonies filmed. Hey, you guys!
Now, don't make fun of Hillary like that. I always thought she was more of a Skeletor myself.
You would think somebody who's been in held office, sort of office, her husband held office, she wanted to hold office, but who knows all this stuff about would not get in trouble, and guess what? She learned something. She learned how to become a crook.
So I'm going to reestablish my theory about the 2016 election because it's been a minute. But this ties into what happened with all that. So my theory is that the entire State Department completely messed up Benghazi, just completely kerfuffled it. So I think the DNC made a deal with Hillary because I don't think she was actually more to blame than anybody else. In fact, I think Obama was largely more to blame, considering he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and he was basically authorizing those military actions in Libya.
She didn't answer a phone call in the middle of the night because she was sleeping.
Well, but here's the thing. So, I don't think she's any more at fault than anyone else because why is the Secretary of State the only person you're going to call? But that's irrelevant. So here's what happened. The DNC comes to Hillary and says, look, this is bad. Well, no, this is bad. Like, this is really bad. We need somebody to take the fall. And your Secretary of State, it makes sense. So in exchange for you taking the fall for this, we're going to guarantee you the nomination in 2016. And look what happened in 2016. Emails got leaked with the DNC saying repeatedly, de-emphasize Bernie, focus on Hillary.
Can you imagine if Bernie won?
Well, Bernie was never going to win because I watched this happen live. At the Democratic National Convention, there were delegates that wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders. These people had their mics cut and then were escorted out of the convention when they started raising hell. They were not allowed to cast their votes for Bernie Sanders because they did not want dissension and they didn't want people to change their minds because Hillary is more unlikable than Donald Trump. The Democrats found the one person that people hated more than Trump.
Are you trying to say they wanted Trump?
No, they did want Trump. That's part of the emails that were released. They were asking them to guide their friends in the media, I believe I don't know, I can't remember. But they were basically saying, we want the media to focus on Trump because they want Trump and Hillary because they thought it would be a sure thing. Or at the very least, it would take away from any Republican that had a legitimate chance of winning.
Yeah.
Well, then they fucked up because Hillary is not very good at candid behavior, period. I mean, she's not. It's not in her skill set, and some people just aren't. Trump thrives in that. That's Trump's arena. In the arena of just random questions and random things happening, Trump is a shark and Hillary is a minnow.
It's like, dude,
she cannot hang.
His ability to come up with a speech on hand, like, you can't contend with that.
No, and Hillary, because Hillary's in the middle of her rehearsed speech, and this is where one of the reasons Trump is a genius. You remember, during those debates, she's going almost some pre-planned speech. Wrong. Like, no, he did that on purpose. I mean, I was gonna say he wasn't being a dick. He was being a dick.
He knew how she reacts.
He was tripping her up because she is not good at off the cuff. When she tries to do off the cuff, it goes very poorly, like her fake Southern accent. When she forgets that people have TV. Fucking idiot. And how you can say on Tuesday that you're going to put coal miners out of business, and then on Wednesday, when you're in Pennsylvania, be like, we're gonna fight for your jobs. Bitch, you know why they hated you? Because the day before, you were on the other side of the country in liberal land saying, we're going to put coal out of business. And then you go there.
Think they know?
Well, and you think they're that stupid. That's how they lost the fucking election.
Listen, if Hillary would have won in 2016, what we're going through right now, we would be going through then, and then we'd be in a war with Russia. Because remember when she was literally like threatening Russia already before she was even president.
Yep.
So between all that stuff, you know, like, I don't know. I just don't get. I don't know. America's the greatest business ever. I'm not going to say the greatest country anymore, but it's the greatest business ever.
Oh, it's the greatest country.
No, yeah.
I'll argue with anyone on that.
Yeah, because I'm going to say, all right, it's so much better over here. I'm like, okay, well,
where's over there? First of all,
you know, and then people using the Scandinavian countries saying they're socialists, and it's like, no, they're not.
No, they're not. Well, but
they have socialist programs.
Well, but they're having to stop.
Yeah, because they can't afford it.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
Well, and again, my whole my whole thing that I always come back to is why are people literally risking their lives and the lives of their families to come here? It ain't because it's an oppressive police state.
Speaking of socialized medicine, the UK, the little 12-year-old boy that died because they would not let him come to America to receive medical care, and the parents fought in court, but yet they decided to rather let a kid die than just let him leave the fucking country. Let him leave the country.
Yeah, they're not even asking you to pay for it.
That right there
that happens
fucking evil.
Often with the NIH. That happens so often. We covered one on the podcast. Artie Evans, I think his name was.
I don't know. It's evil. Like 100% evil. Let him go. Leave him.
Well, and that's my problem with, because I'll be honest, socialized medicine sounds wonderful on paper until you remember that when there's a single payer, they dictate where the money goes, and when you dictate where the money goes, you have the power. So if there's a treatment that will save your life and they don't want to give it to you for, I don't know,
6 months?
Well, no, not even timeline. If you, I don't know. Well, let's see. You voted conservative in the last election, so. And before you say it's never happened before, yes, it did. Soviet Union, traitor of the state. They lose all their benefits, them and their family. They get sent off to Siberia and they just starve their family just because. It's happened constantly. It happens so often that they don't even have numbers.
I can't even think of another country that's actually free anymore, other than America.
Free in the sense that we enjoy, yes.
Australia changed its colors real fast.
Well, but therein lies the problem. It depends on what your definition of freedom is. And I agree with you.
Being stuck in your house and not allowed to buy groceries because you don't want to, get the...
Here's the difference, and this is why American freedom is truly different than anywhere else, because when they said you have to stay in your house, this country, for the most part, said, fuck you. Like, we found ways around this bullshit.
Well, and on top of that, but the way we went about it was stupid.
Well, it's an unenforceable law unless you're willing to use force, like they did in Australia. Because what I told my guys when they were all paranoid, well, what if I get pulled over on the way to work? I'm like, you're not going to get pulled over on your way to work. But if you do, just tell them you're going to the grocery store, pull into Walmart, and wait for them to leave. If you're 10 minutes late because you had to dodge a cop, I don't give a shit. Like, it's that easy. Just lie.
Most of the cops, like in the smaller rural towns, they didn't even care. They're like, so I don't have to pull anybody over and I can still get paid? Okay.
Exactly. They didn't care.
Yeah, except in some cities they did, like Los Angeles and whatnot, when people weren't wearing masks in like fucking malls and shit like that, and they were fighting them about it. And I'm like, this is scary. This is scary because you guys are supposed to be the ones to protect, and nah.
Well, what are they gonna do when the criminal isn't wearing a mask? Are they gonna issue him a citation?
Or anyone who's not white.
Like, and I have another controversial opinion. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry at all. If you're still wearing a mask out in public today and you're not immunocompromised, and even then the mask.
I see very young kids, probably 16 to 20, still wearing them, and they got purple hair. And I'm like, look, I don't care if you have purple hair because back in our day when girls had purple hair, that means they did stuff.
They still do stuff.
That's my point. But
some of that shit gets scary. It's like, you want to do what now?
They bring out knives. Anyway, what was your point? I interrupted you.
If you're still wearing a mask out in public everywhere you go, like, I'm sorry, you're a bitch.
No, it's not. You're a bitch. You're putting on a. You're putting on a show.
Either that or you're a bitch.
Yeah,
or you're a male feminist who's trying to get laid because the girl you're trying to bone is oh well, we have to fight for everyone. It's like, it's done, it's over.
Literally, this one guy was basically coming out and calling another guy misogynistic, and people are like all like, oh, blah blah blah, he's never had any in his entire life, this and that. And I was like, well, to be honest with you, I was like, a dude that's calling another dude misogynistic is most likely probably gay.
Well, case in point, we had some commenter at some point in one of our videos basically insinuating that we were both virgins. And it's like, first of all, he's married. And he has 2 kids, so he has actual evidence. And I can assure you, I am not a virgin. There may or may not be video evidence. I said may or may not be.
We got 7.5 minutes. What do you want to do?
Plug my OnlyFans.
I have one. Are put in no data.
In the bio?
No, not in the bio, but in each video's comments. So they have to subscribe, not subscribe, but follow my page. And I got like 8 followers. And the funny thing
That's
is,
hilarious.
no, get this, they were all females with OnlyFans. So I bet you they were probably like trying to because a few of them messaged before they added me, and it was just stupid shit. But I was like, are they trying to collaborate?
Oh boy. Well, and I guess now's as good a time as any. My name is Jake, and I'm a misogynist.
The first step is admitting you have a problem.
Dude, I am. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm totally a misogynist. Because I in my ideal world, and I've lived this, and I can.
He gives a great massage. I'm a misogynist.
No, seriously, best relationship I ever had. We never talked about money because I fucking paid for everything. It was never a fucking issue. It was the greatest thing ever. And yes, I believe that in an ideal setting, that's how it should be. Like, she works. Like, I'm not saying she can't work. Not even saying... I never once asked... Well, okay, I did ask, but it wasn't like... I never once said, you cook kitchen. Never said it. It just happened.
See, that's not misogynistic. That right there is a girl who was raised differently and has different values, you know. And the thing is, like, misogynist.
She loved to cook.
That's she was Spanish, right?
Yeah, she was Mexican.
Yeah, exactly.
That was her deal.
Great fucking food.
Make great fucking food. And I had cooked before, and she was like, "You're not cooking anymore." And I'm like, "Fair enough."
It's like, I don't do hot dogs. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, as she put it,
chicken nuggets.
No, white people food. I can cook, man. I have to feed myself. It's funny, every time like somebody finds out I cook, they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "How do you think I eat?"
What did you eat tonight?
Chicken breast, like little diced up potatoes, and like a vegetable mix.
Did you make it all together, or was it like stir fry?
It was a la carte, baby.
Oh.
Multiple pots.
And you eat no sauce. Like, it's so weird. I love sauce.
Well, I mean, it was seasoned.
Yeah, but seasoned is just not enough for me.
Oh, it totally is for me.
Gotta have, pour half the bottle on there.
No, I actually found that I think I know why. I think I just have a really base palate because, what was it I was eating? Somebody was like, "Oh, this is really good because it's like sweet and tart," and I'm just like, it's too much. Like, it's too different.
You like spicy, though, because the hot honey chicken and fucking Qdoba.
Yes. And I have discovered, actually, that if you take something really spicy and you sprinkle just a hint of sugar on it, ooh, game changer.
I do love me some sweet and spicy. But I will say, though, that those burnt ends from King's Island...
those sucked ass.
The sauce was gross.
Yeah, that's what it is. The sauce was way too sweet.
It wasn't necessarily that either, though. It was like not thick.
It was dry meat and shit sauce.
Oh yeah, it was like dry meat and then just dumped in like crazy amounts of sauce. Like when you have burnt ends, burnt ends are supposed to be like thick and like pasty.
Yeah, they're almost fatty in their consistency.
Right.
Yeah.
For everyone just catching in, we're getting ready to close up shop. So
yes, we are. So go back and be sure to watch the rest of the episode and the one before it, because honestly, they were both really good. See, when I have notes, I do really well. I've learned this.
I had some notes too, but apparently we got them from the similar place. So I was like, "Gosh, shit! I trust his notes." I got some stuff from Ben, some stuff from Tim Pool. And then I didn't get no Crowder. I saw something from him today, but I was like,
I try to get a mixture too.
He gives opinionated speeches all the time, which I don't hate, but I want just facts. And generally, Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool usually come with the facts. Now, Ben Shapiro has opinions on it too, but like he gives you the facts and then opinion.
Yeah,
it's not mixed.
He'll differentiate, which is one of the reasons why I like Ben's style, because it will be like this and this and this happened today, and here's what it means. And you can agree to disagree with the here's what it means part, but he at least lays out what happened. And
I try to trust him simply just because he's been doing this for a very long time, and
oh sure,
for the most part,
ultimately
he knows what he's talking about.
Ultimately, I trust him, but and again, this is to his credit. He admits that he has a massive conservative bias.
Oh, and he does,
and that's fine. Just admit it. Like if the more liberal-leaning outlets would just admit it, I can respect that. You're insane, but I can respect that.
I love it.
It's
how
like Hannibal Lecter likes the taste of people. I can respect that, but I'm not going to listen to you when it comes to confection. I'm just not.
Hannibal Lecter.
It's like you like to eat man meat. Sorry, bro. You and I do not have the same palate.
It puts the lotion on the skin, or else it gets the hose again. You know that was Shao Kahn, right?
What?
Yeah, the actor.
No.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill or whatever his name was. That was Shao Kahn.
Hold on. Before we go off the air, I must verify this.
Stay there. Accept this. Accept this. Meet with video. It was getting ready to cut us off.
Oh, okay, so hold on. I'm gonna find this shit.
I'm telling you, dude, you're gonna be like, what? Fudge?
I am.
And 2 shall it be. And on the 7th day, I already messed up the speech.
Who the hell is Buffalo Bill? Where are you, son?
Buffalo Bill, who did you kill? Buffalo Bill. Something like that. It's Buffalo Bill, motherfucker.
Yes, it is Buffalo Bill, but I cannot find this.
Just type in Buffalo Bill, Silence of the Lambs, buddy. Do I need to teach you?
Silence of the Lambs.
You know what the funny thing is? It's not.
I was gonna say.
No, it's the guy from freaking Joe Dirt when he was acting like Buffalo Bill.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's not Shao Kahn.
No. Shao Kahn is the guy from Joe Dirt when he was telling him, "Okay, I put the lotion on the skin. You got my magazine?"
I gotcha.
And he's like making out with the dog. He's like, the thing with the dog kind of makes me nervous.
I was gonna say Ted Levine is not Shao Kahn.
Yeah, I totally got that screwed up. It was good for a second because you're like, no way.
Although, fun fact, he is from Ohio, which does not shock me in the least.
Buffalo Bill?
The actor.
Oh. Buffalo Bill was from Indiana.
Well, neither one of those surprises me.
I can't remember. Anywho, let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap the.
We don't want to get YouTube pregnant.
Let's wrap this thing up.
Listen.
Candles.
Make sure you vote. And buy candles. Peace.
For the love of God, vote policy. Don't be an idiot.
Vote the right way.
There is no right way.
Vote right. You got to vote right. The right way.
I get what you're saying.
I can't take credit for that. That was my Krav Gym's owner's bit during 2016 election. It's like, just make sure you vote right.
Oh, I'm assuming he's a big conservative.
Oh yeah, big time. He's
Your
a
Krav Maga?
Yeah, he's a business owner and a martial artist. I'm not surprised. It's not one of those hippy-dippy martial arts where it's all like, let's meditate and think about fighting. It's like, no, we're going to bash faces and kick balls.
You want to lead us out on a proper intro or outro, or just get rid of it?
Thank you once again for enjoying this episode of the Average Intelligence Podcast. Hopefully, you're a little bit less average and a little bit more intelligent.
Yes.
Yeah, that's our new thing. If you enjoyed this, or even if you hated this, make sure to tell all your friends about it. Because we're press whores and we'll take whatever we can get. If you would prefer to listen to this podcast rather than watch it, well, good news for you. You don't have to have YouTube Premium to do it. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Now, Anchor, Audible, and some other little pissant podcast programs that I don't think anybody actually uses, but they are there nonetheless. You can also directly support the podcast via the Anchor.fm app, or if you use the Brave browser and have some extra BAT cryptocurrency that you want to unload, you can tip us via YouTube. We are enabled.
Brave.
And
right here.
if you want to support the podcast still, you can check out our official merchandise store, or as always, check out any of our great sponsors. They are high quality. I was going to say it's Hustlers University high quality. Yes, I'd say it's high quality, especially for the price. But yes, they are high quality. They will make your life better in whatever application they apply with. You can smell better, you can feel better, or you can make money better. Now leave. Go.
Go make some money.